Good evening, everybody. Joe Martin the Metalhead here. Hope you're going well. Day number 25 of Vlogust. And I've got like less than a week left to the end of August. And today we're all going to be talking about the weather. Okay. I get a lot of criticism for living in the United Kingdom instead of Australia. People always like to complain about the weather. There are so many idiotic British people who choose to live in the Iberia Peninsula, but they don't fit into Spanish society or Portuguese society. They don't learn the language. They tend to live in their own enclaves. They tend to live a freaking British life surrounded by British pubs in a Spanish world, and I just don't get that. If I had the chance to live in those countries, I would fit right in. I would basically only eat local food. Because, as I said before a few weeks ago, I don't eat stuff from Australia while living in the United Kingdom, and I rarely eat British things when I'm in Australia. But when I travel, I don't want to be going to bloody Irish or British pubs. My travels, I just find that ridiculous. I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to go to a local restaurant, like a Polish milk bar, or one of those restaurants in North Macedonia where you pay by how much your plate weighs. Now that's quite exciting. Now, there was a heat wave last year in the United Kingdom, went up to 36 degrees, and I told myself, I thought, you know what, I'm used to this. This is nothing. I experienced hotter temperatures in the last few years in Australia, so I'm like, hit me with your best shot. When I went to Dubai many years ago, I couldn't stand, walking around the outside of a non-air conditioned building. My glasses would just fog up, and then I would just literally have to seek shelter, traveling on the Dubai metro, staying indoors. I thought to myself, mate, this isn't going to be a walking expedition. And literally, I couldn't see myself walking to that famous 7-star hotel. I just thought, I'm just going to see it in the distance from this train. As for snow, right, in Australia, most school children go to the snow in year 6, the final year of primary school education. So, I got to see snow for the first time in my life when I was 12. I didn't see snow again until I flew to New Zealand when I was 23. And then I finally saw snow properly when I was in Siberia at 30, going on 31. The coldest temperature I have ever been in was Ulan-Ude. I stopped off there for half an hour to get some food on the Trans-Siberian Railway, and the temperature was minus 24. I was really impressed. I've never experienced extreme cold temperatures in my life in the United Kingdom because we're not that high up in the world. As for snow, there has been a couple of times it snowed in my British life. I clearly remember a blizzard that came through in February and March of that year. I once went to Iceland in May when I saw snow, and I was completely obliterated. I was like, wow, it's snowing in May. I always remembered my travels from Vlogust to London, and so how I described it was Russia snow, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania all snow, Finland snows, Sweden snow, but then there was hardly any snow after I left Sweden to go to Denmark. So, and then I remember I first went to Norway in 2018 and it was snowing, but when I went 2 years later it wasn't snowing, and it was the same time of the year. I got to see snow when I was in Africa last year, would you believe it? I saw snow in Lesotho as the bus drove past the ski resort, and I also saw snow in South Africa. But it wasn't really falling. Although the temperatures in both countries were quite cold, and I had to put on my thermal chatties. Thermal underwear. Chatties is a funny way to describe underwear in Hindi. Yes. So I remember when I first came to the UK, the weather was completely crap. It was like 15 degrees. It was still summer. And then I went to Croatia a few days later, and it was like double that. So the weather this year in summer has been quite weak compared to like last year. I wouldn't like to complain that I hate summer and I love winter, because that's what I always envied. But literally, I always make the saying that I wear thermal underwears from October until May when I live in the northern hemisphere. I don't really want to live in the the tropics of the world. I mean, that's hot all year round. I mean, you could just go from winter in England to what, summer in Mexico, just like that, or winter in the UK, or complete hotness on the equator. Whenever I've traveled from winter to summer or summer to winter, it always tends to like catch up on me. Like, I was living in Australia many years ago. I took a 19-day trip to Europe. So literally, I am packing away my winter clothes, and then I'm flying to Europe. But then on the way home, I'm literally putting on all my shirts, and then I'm going back into cold Australia. Um, in 2018 and 19, I flew to Mexico and French Guiana, and I remember throwing away my jumper as soon as I landed in uh, in Cancun or in Cayenne, because like literally, I was traveling from London to Birmingham or London to Paris, and I'm wearing cold things, and I just think, wow, it's quite hard, to pack clothes for the best of world, because, you know, I live in a winter environment, but then I'm visiting a summer environment for 2 weeks, and I'm like, but what do I really pack? But the important thing is that if I go back to Europe in winter, and I've already been in some location, I just put on all my business shirts before I got on the plane. So when I go off the plane, I'm not too cold. I'm like, I got 4 layers of clothing. Do your worst, European winter. Anyway, this is Metalhead. Over and out.